Hello, my dears. Welcome to the Spicy Stories channel, where you will find several spicy stories. I want to share with you a story that happened to me. Stay until the end of the video, because you will learn everything about my story that I had never told before. But I plucked up the courage, and I want to extend an invitation to you at the end. I am already happy to see you here. So let's go. I never imagined that a new job could turn my life upside down, but that is exactly what happened when I started teaching at Greenfield University, a charming and traditional college located in upstate New York. My name is Emily Carter, and I am an English literature professor. I am 32 years old, and until then, my life was calm and quite predictable. Everything changed when I met the college's dean, Andrew Parker. It was the first day of the semester, and I was nervous. Although I had experience as a teacher, this was a renowned institution, and I felt the weight of responsibility. After a brief meeting with the other professors, I decided to explore the campus. That was when I first saw Andrew. He was standing in front of the library, discussing something with the administrative secretary. He was tall, with slightly graying brown hair, an attentive gaze, and a subtle smile that seemed to light up the room. He exuded confidence, but not in an arrogant way. He was the kind of person who commanded attention without having to try. It wasn't long before our interactions became frequent. Andrew made a point of welcoming new professors personally. When it was my turn, he walked into the room during a break between my classes. Wearing a dark blue suit and a modest tie, he looked like he had stepped out of a classic Hollywood movie. "Professor Carter, welcome to Greenfield University," he said, extending his hand. His voice was calm but firm. "Thank you, Mr. Parker. I'm very excited to start. It's an honor to be a part of this team. Please call me Andrew. We're all on the same team here. If you need anything, my door is always open." It sounded like a formality, but there was something in his tone that seemed sincere. As the weeks passed, our conversations became more personal. Whenever we passed in the hallways or at campus events, he made a point of asking how I was adjusting and listening intently to my answers. Little by little, I realized that he was not only a competent administrator, but also an incredibly human person. One afternoon, after a long and exhausting meeting, I ran into Andrew in the campus cafe. He was standing alone with a cup of coffee in his hand and a book open in front of him. I recognized the title immediately, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. "A classic," I said, moving closer. He looked up and smiled. "One of my favorites. What do you think, Professor of Literature?" Sitting at the table with him, we discussed Austen, Shakespeare, and other authors we loved. It was a natural, fluid conversation, as if we had known each other for years. Before I knew it, we had already spent almost an hour talking. Time seemed to fly by when we were together. Over time, we began to exchange messages outside of work. At first, it was just professional matters, but it soon turned into discussions about music, movies, and even our families. I discovered that Andrew was a widower. His wife had died 5 years earlier in a car accident. He spoke of her fondly, but also with a sadness that broke my heart. "I thought I would never be able to move on," he confessed one night as we walked across campus after a charity event. "But being here, working with young talent, has given me a new purpose." I looked at him, feeling a connection that went beyond words. It was as if he was opening up a part of himself that few others had access to, and I felt honored by that. It didn't take long for the rumor mill to start. In a small community like Greenfield University, any frequent interaction would become a topic of conversation. Some colleagues made subtle comments, while others made no effort to hide their speculation. At first, I tried to ignore it, but it became uncomfortable. One night, after a dinner where we had discussed a project to improve student engagement, I decided to broach the subject. "Andrew, I think we need to talk about this. People are talking." He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I know, and I care a lot about my professional reputation, Emily, but I care more about you." I was speechless. No one had ever spoken to me like that. It was as if he had read my mind and told me exactly what I needed to hear. That night, as I said goodbye to him, something changed. He held my hand for a moment longer than necessary. Our eyes met, and my heart skipped a beat. The connection between us was undeniable, but our relationship wouldn't be easy. We both knew that. There were unspoken rules about the dynamics between teachers and the administration and the constant scrutiny of others. Nevertheless, we decided to move forward cautiously, building something we hoped would be solid and lasting. As the months passed, our bond grew stronger. Andrew and I found discreet ways to spend time together without attracting unwanted attention. We had our after-work chats, exchanged books, and even shared quick meals at the campus cafe. Despite the hardships, I felt more alive than ever. One afternoon, during a walk in the park near the campus, Andrew led me to a secluded bench. He seemed nervous, which was unusual for someone so confident. Before I could ask what was wrong, he pulled something out of his pocket. It was a small box. "Emily, I know our situation is complicated, but you are the one who has brought light back into my life. I want to know if we can get through this together." I opened the box and saw a delicate pendant with a small sapphire stone. It wasn't a ring, but the meaning was clear. I was overcome with emotion, barely able to hold back the tears. "Yes, Andrew, I want to be with you, no matter what happens." From that moment on, our relationship became more serious. We decided to tell a few close friends, including our history professor, Lisa Thompson, who had always been a great supporter of both of us. She helped us navigate the turbulent waters of academia. However, it wasn't all smooth sailing. Some colleagues began to suspect, and more intense rumors circulated around campus. One day, I was called to a meeting with the Board of Trustees. Sitting in the large conference room, surrounded by stern faces, I felt the weight of the situation. Andrew walked in shortly after, maintaining his posture, but I could see the tension in his shoulders. "Mr. Parker, Miss Carter, there are reports that your relationship has crossed the line of professionalism. Is that true?" asked the Associate Dean, Mr. Matthews. Andrew took my hand under the table before answering. "That's true. We have a personal relationship. However, we have always maintained professional ethics and ensured that it did not interfere with our responsibilities at the university." There was an uncomfortable silence. My heart was pounding as I waited for the verdict. After a heated debate, the board decided that there was not enough evidence to take disciplinary action, but they warned us about the need for discretion. We left the room feeling relieved, but knowing that the battle was not over. Over time, the pressure eased. Andrew and I continued to build our life together, finding strength in each other to face the challenges. We organized a student book club, hosted cultural events, and worked on projects that brought the academic community even closer together. The greatest proof of our love came at an unexpected moment. During a year-end event, Andrew took the stage to give a closing speech. He spoke about the power of resilience, courage, and love. Sometimes life presents us with challenges that seem impossible to overcome. But it is in these moments that we discover who we really are and what we are capable of achieving. I am grateful for this community, and even more so for having found someone who inspires me every day. Thanks, Emily. All eyes turned to me, and I felt my face flush. But at that moment, I realized that there was no longer any reason to hide what we felt. Andrew got off the stage and came to me, holding my hand. The auditorium erupted in applause, and for the first time, I felt like we were truly free to be who we were. In the years that followed, we continued to work together, not just as colleagues, but as life partners. Greenfield University has become more than just a place to work. It was the place where we found love, purpose, and a new chance to rewrite our stories. And even when difficulties arose, we always remembered that in the end, the heart always finds the way. I'm glad you made it this far. Now I want to invite you to subscribe to the channel. If you're not already subscribed to receive all our videos, like, share, and leave in the comments what you thought of my story. I promise I will read and like your comment. I'll stay here and see you in the next video, okay? Until then,